Hello, everybody, and it's good to see you again. I'm reading a story to you from the Spark Storybook Bible called A Storm, and it starts on page 254. Jesus and his friends, the disciples, met by a lake one day. They were going to go fishing together. Creak, creak. The fishing boat rocked as Jesus put one leg over the side of the boat and pulled himself in. "Follow me," Jesus said to his disciple friends. And one by one they climbed into the boat. Finally, they pushed off from the shore. Jesus' friends talked and laughed in the boat. They told stories about all the fish they caught on this lake. "What was your best fishing trip, Jesus?" one of his friends asked. But Jesus didn't answer. He was sound asleep. Bzzz. Gray clouds came into the sky and pushed out the sun. The boat rocked harder now. The first raindrops came. Plop, plop. The disciples held their cloaks around them as the rain fell harder. Brrr. The rain was cold and the wind was blowing strong against their skin. Waves came up over the top of the boat. Splash. Lightning flashed all around the boat. Thunder cracked. Jesus' friends yelled, "We shouldn't be out here on the lake." How could Jesus sleep? Flashes of light and gusts of wind came every second. Jesus' friends couldn't wait any longer. They shook Jesus awake. "Help us, Jesus," they cried. Jesus opened his eyes and saw the fear on their faces. "Why are you so afraid?" he asked. Jesus stood up in the boat and lifted his arms. "Peace, be still." In an instant, the waves lay down on the lake. Shh. Clouds made a space for the sun. The raindrops stopped, and there was a silence instead of thunder. Jesus' friends stared at each other. "Did you see that? Jesus saved us. We're alive. We survived that awful storm. Thank you, Jesus." Well, the book I'd like to read to you tonight is Orion and the Dark. My name is Orion, and I gotta fix this. There. And I guess you could say I am scared of a lot of things. Mom tells me I just have a big imagination and there's nothing to be frightened of. Well, that's easy for her to say. As far as I can see, the world is full of frightening things. But there's one thing that scares me more than anything else: the dark. Of course, I've tried all kinds of things to solve the problem, but nothing ever works. And before I know it, it's bedtime again. I don't like bedtime. The night that changed everything began like any other. I kept an eye out for monsters. I kept an ear out for scary noises. But as it got darker and darker and darker, I couldn't take it anymore. "I've had enough of you, dark. I wish you and your scary sounds, your murky monsters, and your pitch blackness would just go away." And that's when something strange happened. Outside my window, the dark seemed to come alive, and it came inside my room. I was feeling more scared than ever before, even more than when I went to the dog show with Grandma. But Mom always says it's important to remember your manners, especially when you are greeting visitors. So I said, "Hello, I'm Orion," and put out my hand. "Hello there, I'm the dark." "Now, Orion, it's time for you to stop being so afraid of everything, especially me. Let's go on an adventure." And there we have the dark shaking hands with Orion. Of course, normally I'd be scared stiff of going on an adventure, especially with a terrifying creature like the dark. But the dark wasn't quite what I had expected. First, he asked me to see the shadowy and scary parts of the house, the nooks and crannies where the monsters live. In the closet, under the bed, down the drain, in the basement. And you won't believe this, but some of the darkest places turned out to be the most fun. Even having fun couldn't stop me from being scared for long, though. What are those horrible, creepy, and scary sounds coming from outside? Together, we bravely went outside to find the frightening sounds. And when we found them, they weren't frightening at all. The dark asked me if I had stopped feeling afraid. I said I felt a little better, but there was still one place that made my knees wobble and my tummy twist with fright. And so we went off. We went off on one last adventure, all the way up into the night sky. There, in the darkest place of all, I realized the dark could be fun, and the dark could be interesting, and the dark could be magical. And most of all, the dark could be my friend. And nobody, not even me, is scared of their best friend. But too soon we had to go home. As the sun began to climb up into the sky, my friend began to fade. It was time to say goodbye. I've had a super duper spiffadocious incredimundo adventure, but will you ever come back? I didn't want the dark to go. And so he promised, I'll never be far away. Here's his handout again. And from that night on, he never was. Just like Jesus was with the disciples when they were afraid. When Orion was afraid, he got some help too. And I just want you to know that Jesus is always with you when you're afraid. He will help calm that storm inside of you. And so you can sleep peacefully, just like Orion did. Sleep in peace. God is awake. Good night.